Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I was trying to think of how to do this video for this Marlin Spike knife, and I was kind of inspired by another knife that my friend Gary let me borrow, and it brought me back to my time on the docks, and what with this ship blocking the Suez Canal and the tugboats that had to free it. I thought, well, we'll combine this knife with a little bit of story time. But we'll talk a little bit about this knife first. This is a Rough Rider Marlin Spike knife. And it has this nice little anchor on there. It's got this really nice Wharncliffe blade, which, just, again, just a really great blade shape, great for any kind of slicing tasks that you might have. And then, of course, it has the locking Marlin Spike, which, if you don't know what Marlin Spikes are for, they're not for spiking marlins, but they are for tying lines and splicing lines. And that brings me back to the tugboats. And this little bail, you just release it like so, and there you go. These are handy knives. I know a lot of the British and UK Army and Navy knives have a Marlin Spike on it. And I talked to a Navy veteran that I work with, and he said that these were mostly used for bowlines to splice those together. Now, when I worked for a tugboat company once upon a time, I didn't see anybody with a Marlin Spike knife, but I saw a lot of people with this knife, the Spyderco Harpy with the full spider edge like this. This is what a lot of the guys were using to cut that polypropylene line and stuff. And it was kind of funny that on the description from Spyderco, they say that this is a shackle key, but I've never seen a shackle small enough to use this. So maybe one of the commenters can tell me where I'm missing that. Of course, you can move your clip in any of the four directions that you want: left, right, tip up, tip down, however you like it. And it has the little dent in the lockback, which is very handy. These are really cool knives, and I saw a lot of these on the docks when I worked for that tugboat company. I was not a sailor or a deckhand or anything with them. I was a dispatcher, so I got to see a lot of cool things on the waterfront. Got to see them work a lot with bringing in large ships, like that one that was stuck in the Suez Canal. They were bringing in everything into Long Beach Harbor at that time that I was working at. We'll just open this guy up for some better visual displays while I'm going through story time in memory lane. But yeah, they did a lot of cool stuff. Bringing bunker barges, to supply oil and stuff to those ships, and fresh water, helping to bring in, the different ships all the way from, the small, and I say small, when you stand next to them, they're not small, but cruise liners up to the gigantic Toyota car carriers that were so big they would have to clear all the boats. They could only have one single line tied up through some of those berths that they were bringing them into to offload those ships. And a lot of those guys, they worked really hard. And I got to tell you, my hat's off. I'm an Army vet. I'll take my chances on the ground any day. Those guys that go out to the ocean and sail the seas and stuff, that's just not me. The ocean can be a very mean mistress. And like one person I heard say, yeah, pretty much the ocean is just out to kill you. It doesn't matter. So kind of a fun observation on his part, I guess. Anyways, that was kind of it. This is a shorter video. I don't really have a lot to add about these knives. This knife here I bought mostly as a kind of a memento knife, something that will remind me of the days that I was, out, kind of on the water, kind of, because our offices were actually on an old World War II concrete hulled barge that was permanently docked there in Long Beach. and the offices were up above and the machine shop was down below. And I saw guys splicing lines and doing their repairs and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun. But like I said, saw a whole lot of Spydercos on the water. Didn't see a lot of these guys, but these guys are cool for what they are. And let's face it, you just never know when you just might need to spike a marlin. It could happen. So I hope that this video didn't bore you. It's kind of different from the other stuff because I don't have a whole lot of experience with this knife. But like I said, sometimes a knife is more than a tool. Sometimes it's something to remind you of something. It's like a memento or something. You can say, yeah, this is a specialized tool for a time when I was around people that did specialized work. And, it was just, it was a fun time in my life. And, I got to meet a lot of very cool and interesting people. And one of the things that impressed me, I think, the most was we had a couple of the captains that came up there. We were doing some kind of thing. I forget where it was for compliance or something. For the Coast Guard, we had to have all the different ratings that the captains and stuff had. And we had a couple of guys there that had been around, and their licenses basically said, any tonnage, any ocean. And it was a true master's license. They could get on anything, and, that was it. They were ready to, captain that ship. And there was a couple of interesting stories. We had a couple of those guys that were around the captains that actually had towed barges and other things all the way across from the West Coast to Vietnam, and actually went into the Mekong Delta and everything. So for everybody that's a military buff, myself included, those were always interesting stories. But I don't remember all the particulars, and I don't want to tell you guys a bunch of tall tales. That's all fun and good for some things, but I don't want to get it wrong when it's that important. But yeah, just kind of a fun little knife, kind of a cool tool if I ever am going to need to splice anything. Who knows? It could happen. But yeah, just a kind of a fun knife to have as a memento. Do you guys have memento knives? Do you pick up knives that have special meaning to you for some period of your life, or something that made you remember something, or something that brings you some kind of memory? If so, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Like I said, this is kind of a different video, kind of a little more story time. I hope I didn't bore you with the ramblings of an old man, but I hope you guys stuck around, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.